Alright, this is Honors Purple Chapter 5, Lesson 1. We're doing the guided practice off page 374. I'm going to start with a little bit of review and explanation of some terms and words that we should know. Parallel. Parallel are lines, rays, or segments that are always the same distance apart. They'll never intersect. So these don't actually look like they're parallel, but if they were always the same distance apart, going forever and ever, they would never meet. It's called parallel. That's the symbol for parallel, by the way. Might remind you there's a whole bunch of parallel line segments in the word parallel. Perpendicular means forms right angles. The symbol for that is an upside down T. Now, if they're showing you on a normal picture or something, a lot of times they'll put this little square right there that shows you that that's a right angle. Okay. So if you look at those parallel and perpendicular, those are some things we need to look at. We're going to give you some special pairs, alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, and these are all congruent pairs, which means they have the exact same measure if lines are parallel. So they're telling me that line C is parallel to line D. That would look like this, by the way. Line C is parallel to line D. We have a line that's intersecting two or more lines, rays, or segments, and that's called a transversal then. So this is a transversal that cuts through two of them. G is a transversal. You notice it forms 8 angles. So some special pairs, alternate interior, are inside the parallel, so we're only talking about 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alternate means going from top left to bottom right. 3 and 6 are congruent because they're alternate interior angles. Also, 5 and 4 are alternate interior angles, which means they're congruent. Alternate exterior. Well, now I'm not talking about 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm talking about the things on the outside. So 1 alternates with 8. They are congruent. 2 alternates with 7. They are alternate exterior, which makes them congruent. Corresponding means they're the exact same position, but the other parallel. So, for example, like angle 2 is in the same position as angle 6, above the parallel to the right, above the parallel to the right. Angle 3 is in the same position as 7. Below and left, those two would be considered congruent because they are corresponding. 1 would be corresponding them with what? 5. And 8 would be corresponding with what? 4. Okay, so we have corresponding, alternate interior, and alternate exterior. Alright, so let's do a couple problems. Number 1. They say that angle M is parallel to line M is parallel to line N. These two are parallel. And they said the measure of angle 7 is 35 degrees. So right here we have a 35 degree angle. We want to find the measure of angle 1. 1's doesn't have a special relationship with this one, but there's a lot of other special relationships. For example, 7 and 8 add up to be a straight angle, so that means that they are supplementary. So I could take 180 minus 35 to give me 145 degrees for this one. Now what does that tell me? Well, I could go then angle 1 is alternate exterior, and so now I have supplementary, which leads me to alternate exterior. Does that make sense? I could have done that a different way. These two are supplementary because they add up to be this straight angle. Subtract, you get 145. Now 5 and 1 are corresponding. So once again, so now I know that the measure of angle 1 is 145 degrees. So let me do another one. This one, they tell me that A is parallel to B. They tell me that measure of angle 2 is 135, so let me find angle 2, 135, and we want to find measure of angle 9 eventually, and 7. Okay, well, 9 and 7. Let's go see if we can find 9. Well, I know that if this is a right angle, then these two right here have to add up to be a right angle, which means they are complementary. Okay, well these two right here are supplementary. 8 and 2 are supplementary. So I take 180 minus 135 and I get 45. So A is a 45 degree angle and 8 is a 45 degree angle, and these two are complementary, so 90 minus 45 is 45 degrees. So measure of angle 9 must be 45 degrees. Let me find 7. Angle 7, isn't that just alternate interior? They're inside the parallels, top right to bottom left. Angle 2 is going to be congruent to angle 7, so I know that's 135 degrees. So a little bit of review on those things. Okay.